This is Andrea Perron. You are listening to Glenda's Dragon's Den, where everything is wild and untamed.
Welcome to Glenda's Dragon's Den. I'm Glenda Dawson, your host. How are you today? With me today, of course, is my co-host and producer, Ashley, and my Dragon Wrangler, LD. I want to take a moment to say thank you again to last week's guests, Joanne O'Hara and Paul Gilbo. I will also want to thank everyone that listened and participated in the chat room. Love your comments, love your feedback. Keep them coming, please. We want to hear from you all the time. So, Ashley, how was your week?
Doing pretty good. Trying to keep out of trouble. Doing a pretty okay job of it.
Oh, come on. That'd be boring if you keep out of trouble all the time.
Yeah, this is true. But, yeah, just kind of hanging out, doing my thing.
Just kind of hanging out, doing your thing. Good, good. Well.
So who do we have on tonight?
Oh.
How's that for a segue?
Whoa, that's a segue. I am excited to bring you a very special guest, a distinguished author of both fiction and nonfiction, and someone that LD and I consider a very close personal friend, Andrea Perron.
It's wild and untamed.
Hey, Andrea, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Excellent.
How you doing, Andrea?
Hi, I still can't find my kitty, but, you know, fingers crossed.
We're all sending good vibes out there.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm concerned about her. She's never been gone away from the house like this. Mm-hmm. Mom says she has. She's disappeared, you know, kind of gets spring fever and will disappear for a day or two, but she's been missing since yesterday. I haven't seen a hide and a hair of her, and I'm the one that let her out, and I just looked at her and I told her to be good, and that's the last I've seen of her. So I'm concerned because, you know, I hate to say it, but we're surrounded by freaking rednecks with shotguns that like to turn anything that's alive in nature into target practice. And, you know, I'm just scared shitless that one of these fucking idiots has done something terrible to my cat, which means that I will have to kill him if I find out that he did.
Nah, I'm sure it won't. I'm sure it won't come to that, Andrea.
Plus,
I hope not, because, you know, I don't really want to spend the rest of my life in jail, but nor should he. Come on, come in the house.
So I did promise it was going to be an explosive show, and apparently we're off at the first shot.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, we're not on the air, though, right? So
we are on the air, yes. We are very on the air, but that's okay.
No, we are not. No, we are not on the air, right? Because the show starts at 6, right?
It's here.
Yeah, it's on the air. We're on the air. We are on the air.
No. Oh, great. Oh, gee, that's excellent.
Yeah.
Thanks.
That's okay. Everybody knows that you're a peace-loving vermin.
Yes.
Yeah, I am. For the most part. But I tell you what, if that piece of crap that lives behind my sister has anything to do with this missing cat, woe be unto him.
Well, he's been put on notice, so I'm sure he's taking if he sees the cat, he's going to make sure the cat is very well groomed. Yep. Toenails have been clipped correctly, maybe a little polish, maybe a little fun, festive Easter colors. Very well-fed tuna, lovely, lots of fish oil supplements to make sure it's a nice, wonderful coat, and will be returned to you quickly.
Well, that's exactly how she looks now, you know? I mean, as healthy and fat and happy and beautiful and friendly and kind and loving as any cat I've ever known. Okay. So, you know, needless to say, her presence is missed, and I'm a little miffed about it because, you know, this is I don't know. I'm worried about her. I'm worried about her.
Well, we know how it is when the children go missing.
Yes.
How was the rest of your week?
Oh, it's one of the reasons why I never had real children. You know, like two-legged variety. Because really, first of all, this isn't a world I'd want to bring a child into. And I know there are people out there that would say, whoa, wait a minute. But I really feel that way. This is not a world that I would deliberately bring a child into. Mm-hmm. So that said, God bless the people with the courage to do it, because I'm not, and I could never, I could never survive the loss of a child.
Yeah.
I barely get through it when my animals die. I could never survive the loss of a child. I don't know how my mother and father have done it, dealing with the loss of my sister.
Well, fortunately, we know that this is not the end of the game, so that may help. But nevertheless, tell me about the rest of your week. How was the rest of your week?
I spent it in front of a computer, going word by word, line by line, paragraph by paragraph, and page by page of a book that you and Glenda helped me with tremendously. And the section that you particularly helped with, you are going to be particularly pleased with. So I'm almost done with the galley proof, which is the final interior layout of the book. And all that's left to do is have them insert 3 photographs, and then review where they inserted the photographs and how they did it and how it was lined up. And then we have book. And, it's months later than I anticipated that it would be. And the layout process has been intense and laborious. And I'm certain that my layout designer hates my guts. I know he does. He did in a Flickr. So he's already been through it with me. Mm-hmm. And this made in a Flickr look like a piece of candy.
That's when you send him a gift basket with a giant bottle of like Johnny Walker or whatever their favorite alcohol is. It's like, thank you.
No. Jameson's. Let's be real. But I don't know if you saw the billing, but we billed this as the life and legacy of Andrea Perron. So.
No, I didn't. I have not pulled my face out of this proof in tomorrow. It will be 2 weeks that I have had it in my possession. Ugh. And I have 30 pages left to go out of 460.
You can do it, sister. And it's just to be like, you're just going to relax and not look at another piece of printed word for at least a week.
No, that's not going to happen.
God. Well, I've already told everybody this is it. Enjoy it, because I am never writing another book.
You could just write it. Just have someone else edit it.
Well,
I did.
Oh boy!
I had a lot of help editing the book. Over the months, especially my friend Vanessa has just been. Oh my God, the woman has. She drops everything to whatever I send her, and Michelle and Glenda and Larry. I have, for the most part, I had 6 sets of eyes on this. So. This isn't about really editing at this point. Everybody that's been through it can't find any errors in it, but it's about laying it out. It's about making sure that, if in the layout process, once it's done in the program of a publisher, it alters the text. And so I go through and find any glaring, gaping holes in lines, and we'll rework an entire line to fill it, so that it's as aesthetically pleasing to look at as it is to read.
And that's why we build the show as legacy, because you had said in one of your earlier shows that you kind of see this as a memoir.
It is. It is my paranormal memoir. It is, John Tenney walked up to me. I sent him the original manuscript, because there were several references to him in it. And before it went to print, I wanted to make sure that he was okay with everything. And the last time I saw him, he looked at me and he said, "Honey, you opened a vein." And I said, "Yes, I did. It may be 2. Here, I have 2 arms. There's just nothing left out. And my attitude, my opinion, my forthrightness is on every single page. And if anybody's offended, that's just too bad. If anybody's freaked out, get over it. if anybody's like, really, that's where I am with this. There's just nothing. There's nothing that, Glenda, you and Larry both know me so well and have both been through so many incidents and so many, you both know when stuff happens to me before I even actually verbally tell you.
The Archangels kind of have us on speed dial as far as you're concerned.
Yeah, so Sammy, excuse me just a second. Sammy, leave the kitty alone. No, come on, in the house, come on.
Sammy.
I'm sorry, I'm dog patrol right now because Christine's on her way home from work, and he'll go bananas when the phone rings, and it's her because it rings as my number is what comes up, and he knows that, and then he goes nuts because he knows she's on her way home, which would have been kind of a little disruptive while I'm doing this interview, which, as you can see, is set on casual mode.
Well, listen, if you can't put your freaking hands into the potato
salad,
true
professionalism with your friends, it's like I'm in a mood. I'm just in a mood. You're getting rare and raw me today.
And that's actually how I built it, was explosive show. So, that's where we're here. And I remember, I was thinking back to the AWAs where you formed the original group that I was in. Remember, I wound up being the only guy.
Uh-huh.
And then we'd have blue drinks on the mothership afterwards and kind of, let it all settle. So, this is the person, not the personality that we're bringing tonight. So.
Yeah, well, I'm really sorry I swore on your air. I really did think it was just you guys at the beginning, because everybody else does that. They say if the show starts at 8 and they call me at 10 of, then we just shoot the what for 10 minutes before we actually go on the air. So
I hear ya.
That's what I thought we were doing.
Well, but that's okay because this is who we are, and fuck them if they can't take a joke. Up.
Well, really, and, anybody that really knows me knows that I use that word as punctuation because I like its impact.
Mm-hmm.
It's like an exclamation point, usually interjected in the middle of a sentence that has other exclamation points interjected in it, and I'm usually staring at the news while I'm saying it. Standing up in front of my TV, just knowing that if I yell loudly enough, they'll hear me.
Well, it's St. Patrick's Day, so,
I know. Let's wrestle some snakes.
What?
We can wrestle some snakes. That's going on in churches all over around here.
Oh, boy. Pentecostals.
Yeah. So Glenda's in green, and we have William of Orange represented next to Ashley over there. And I'm in white for peace because it's been a hell of a week. So, whatever floats your boat.
Yep.
It's all out in the open today.
Yeah, it is.
Mm-hmm. Well, you notice when I posted it all over Facebook before the show, I told everybody to, please feel free on St. Patrick's Day to celebrate with the heretics, the pagans, the low-life scoundrels. It's
Absolutely.
Us. There you go.
Well,
paranormal people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, the Ides of March marked the 26th anniversary of my dad's funeral. And he made me promise. Made me promise.
And we share that in common, too, Larry, because that was also the day of April's funeral. We just had the second marking of it. Yep.
Yes. But my dad made me promise to get a bottle of Jameson's and pour it over his grave. And so, at midnight on the 15th, Matthew and I were there with the bottle of Jameson's. And after we filtered it through our kidneys,
yeah.
we ain't wasting a bottle of Jameson's.
That sounds like a waste of a bottle of Jameson's.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, he got Jameson poured on his head one way or the other. In a certain form.
The spirits meet the spirits. What can I tell you?
Yep.
But yeah, so, it's been a heck of a week for all of us, and I can't wait for this new book to come out and for you to get freed up to move on to the other things that are going on. But what
yes,
can you
and
tell
I do
us?
have many things going on.
Exactly.
Ugh.
That's why I laughed when Ashley said, you won't have to look at print for a week. I was like, yeah, like more like an hour. But
Yeah.
the title of the book is A Wonder
Is
to Behold.
a wonder to behold.
A Wonder to Behold. And what helped you to choose that title?
It was chosen for me.
Do tell.
So was the subtitle. Yeah, it was. I sat down at the computer after weeks and weeks of being nudged and pushed and prodded and poked and woken in the middle of the night and writing things down.
Who would dare do such a thing to you? I know it wasn't
the Galactic family.
The Galactic family. See, people that don't know, don't understand what we go through. You know, like Monday, all of a sudden, my soul got called, and I astral projected over to our office because there were people there that felt it would be a good time to put Glenda down. And you know and I know that's a foolish thing to do because...
That's just downright stupid.
Yeah, I mean, if you're psychic and you have a certain level of oversight, then you're going to know when people are plotting against you. And
yeah,
it just amazes me. And we are constantly getting that nudge just like you are. But I'm sure you, because this book was so important to them and they wanted it right. So how did that happen? What did that feel like? Did you hear a voice? Tell us exactly what the process was. Did it come automatic writing? How did you actually conceive the title and bring it out?
I sat down in front of the computer. I opened a Word document and I wrote A Wonder to Behold. And then as a subtitle, I wrote Guideposts for Intergalactic Engagement with Humanity. I don't know where that came from. I do know where it came from, but it just happened spontaneously. And then I just looked at it and I said, okay, that's perfect. And then I started transposing all the notes and the little pieces of paper and the cocktail napkins and not cocktail napkins because I don't drink, but little napkins from restaurants and stuff like that. Yeah.
Lunch and napkins.
Other people's cocktail napkins.
Right.
High tea napkins.
Yes.
Iced tea napkins. Yeah, exactly. Mm. But I'd had a healing on May 24th of last year that occurred in my own bedroom in the middle of the night. And I thought it was my sister visiting because she does so pretty routinely, but it wasn't her. And then I kind of got knocked out afterwards when it was over. And I detail all of this in the book. And the next morning when I got up, I was completely physically healed, like totally healed. There was no pain in my body anywhere after weeks and weeks of living in agony.
Well, as I recall,
in my lower lumbar was terrible.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Larry. What?
As I recall, the healing itself wasn't exactly a joyride.
Well, it didn't hurt. It should have been awful for what was actually happening to me. It should have been. I should have been writhing in pain.
Right.
Because the heat was unbelievable. It was like being submerged into a raging fire. And the pressure was like being crushed to death. And both of those things happening simultaneously to me was a bit startling, to say the least. I didn't understand. I had my television on. I was just laying in bed in my unusual position that I lay in, and I was completely covered, my back and in front of my belly and under my head. I had pillows everywhere, just trying to find a comfortable position. And I was just listening to an interview on television that I was transfixed by, but I looked like I was asleep. And I don't know if it was an oops moment or if I was meant to know what was happening. But the whole bottom of the mattress compressed down about 6 inches, and my feet were hanging off that corner of the bed. And then it felt like something very, very heavy laid down on my feet, on my ankles and my feet. And then it felt like the top of a sarcophagus coming up over me and slowly, methodically rising up over my body with this intense pressure and this intense heat. And I didn't know what to think. I just laid there. I didn't move. I don't think I was even breathing. I was just feeling it. And when it got up into my torso area, I had a moment of panic that whatever it was encasing me and was going to go up over my head. And I panicked and I sat up, propped myself up on my elbow and looked down. And of course there was light in the room from the television and there was nothing on the bed. But as soon as I propped up, it stopped and then it receded at exactly the same pace that it had been rising up my body, up my legs and my torso. And then when it got off the bottom of the bed lifted back up. And then I was hit with this incredible fatigue. I didn't even have time to process what had just happened or to understand what was ongoing. But I laid my head down and I didn't wake up again for about 10 hours. I woke up just about maybe 11:30, 11:45. My father was pacing the house, absolutely frantic, didn't know if I was sick, didn't want to wake me up, didn't want to impose on me and come into my part of the house and start making noise or anything like that, but he was worried. And when I got up, I walked into the kitchen completely upright. The pain in my body was completely gone. And the first thing he said is, "Oh my God, why do you look so tall?" And my height, my full adult height had been restored, some of which I've lost over the decades, because at my fullest height, I was 5'9.5" inches tall. And I'm back to just above 5'9" again. And I had dropped below that sometime back in the last decade. Just because gravity is no friend of mine. I don't know about you, but I don't really get along with it that well.
I don't
And holds me down.
Sometimes.
Don't really appreciate it.
Nope.
Anyway, that being said, he knew immediately, and then I told him, he just kind of pointed up. And I said, yeah, and I told him what had happened, and it was the beginning of something that, I was working like a maniac on the second screenplay. I'd already finished the first screenplay of 3 films of my original trilogy, House of Darkness, House of Light. And I've got, lots of people. It takes a small army to make a film, and we haven't even got everybody on board. This is just like, we've already got an army of people lined up waiting for this to happen. And all of my energy and my attention was completely on that. And all of a sudden I was just hit with one very vivid memory after another of visitations, of sightings, of things that have happened to me over the course of my life with extraterrestrial engagement that I felt compelled to write down. And after 3 or 4 weeks of that nonsense, of not even being able to get through a page of the screenplay before the next one came knocking on my door, I finally pushed everything aside. And for about 3 to 4 weeks, all I did was write. I slept and I wrote. And the bulk of the text of the book was the whole first draft of the book was done in that amount of time.
I've got to say that from the time I was out on my deck during those little chats we used to have after AWA, and you were pointing to various points in the sky for us to focus in and see the craft, to actually reading the book and remembering things that, you know, we were talking about in real time on the phone as they were happening to you. It was indeed a delight for me to kind of relive that. But we are going to go to break, and hopefully you'll stay with us and not throw things at us. And we will be back with you in about
5-6 minutes.
5-6 minutes.
Okay.
But real quick before we head to break, a couple people are asking, do you have an idea when the book will be released?
Well, I intend to turn it back into the publisher this week.
Okay.
They have a turnaround time on that for me to look at the changes that they've made. So I would say within the next 2 to 3 weeks it will be live.
Ooh, you got a lot of excited people in chat.
That's great.
See you in a couple.
Okay. All right.
Attention timeshare owners. This is an urgent consumer alert from Resort Release, a national company specializing in helping consumers legally get out of their expensive timeshare contract. Resort Release is offering a Better Business Bureau accredited way to legally get rid of your timeshare guaranteed. With our guarantee and transfer service, you'll never pay another timeshare maintenance bill again, and your contract will be terminated. You can begin saving today, even if you've tried another company to get rid of your timeshare. Call and see if we can help. At Resort Release, we only accept payment after an agreement has been made to get you out of your timeshare. Make this completely free call and learn how this honest Midwest-based company can help anyone, anywhere, legally get out of their timeshare nightmare guaranteed. Call right now to qualify and receive a free consultation.
800-598-0539. 800-598-0539. 800-598-0539. That's 800-598-0539.
If you or someone you love suffers from drug or alcohol addiction, now is the time to utilize your private health insurance PPO plan to receive up to $30,000 or more in substance abuse benefits so that you have low or no out-of-pocket costs. We quickly help you verify your health insurance coverage amounts for substance abuse treatment so you can prepare for immediate admittance to a medical detox or residential rehab treatment center now. Select from locations nationwide while receiving up to $30,000 or more in coverage through your private health insurance PPO plan if eligible. We are the National Treatment Network, the premier matching service available 24/7. We help you use your PPO private health insurance with low or no out-of-pocket costs.
Call now, 800-961-2480. 800-961-2480. 800-961-2480. 800-961-2480. That's 800-961-2480.
If you're struggling to pay or haven't been making your student loan payments, listen carefully to this urgent alert. Have you been out of school for 10 or more years and you're still making your student loan payments? Are your student loans past due or even in default? Can't go back to school because of an old student loan problem? We can help you if you qualify. Your student loans can be taken out of default. We can stop the wage garnishments, stop the collection calls, and stop the seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and see if we can help you reduce your student loan payments. One quick 10-minute call could solve them right now. So call the Student Loan Helpline now. 800-731-7534, 800-731-7534, 800-731-7534, 800-731-7534. This is a fee-based document preparation service to help you access free government programs. Call for complete details, not available in all states.
Greece is cheap.
But the airfare costs a fortune.
Paris?
Not much closer, and again, airfare...
What about Puerto Vallarta?
Let's face it, flying anywhere is just too expensive.
Wait, what's this? Low-cost airlines.
With one call to low-cost airlines, you'll drastically slash your travel costs. We're talking insanely low airline prices to any of your favorite destinations. Where would you like to go? London, Rome, Costa Rica, Australia?
Wow, that's cheap.
So why wait? Call now to learn how crazy cheap it is to fly anywhere in the U.S. or international. Our prices are so low, we can't publish them. The only way to get them is to call to instantly hear the most amazing best deals on airline travel. It's that easy. So call now and start packing.
800-470-1834. 800-470-1834. 800-470-1834. That's 800-470-1834.
When I need a cut, I go to Diamond Cuts. Ain't no half cutting there. Oh, yeah. Woo. Man, at Diamond Cuts, their barbers got the freshest styles. Anything from fades, Caesars, high tops, blowouts, shape-up, tape-ups, and much more. Their barbers can cut men, women, children, young and old. Stop by Diamond Cut at 144 Pocono Boulevard in Mount Pocono, PA. Or just call at 570-216-4912. Ain't no half cutting there, baby paw. Yo, Stan, yo, Ant, yo, Black, yo, Light Skin, yo, E, where y'all at?
Hi, this is Andrea Perron. You're listening to Glenda's Dragon's Den, where everything is wild and untamed.
And we're back. And I'd like to invite everybody to check out Andrea's Facebook pages. A Wonder to Behold, that's already up and running on Facebook. And then there's House of Darkness, House of Light, which is the Facebook page for the original trilogy that Andrea is wrapping up the screenplays of and is going to be brought to the beautiful screen. The true story of the Perron family's experience. And in the middle, In a Flicker, which is the novel that she co-wrote in her free time with George R. Lopez. Those of you interested can also go to glendasdragonsden.com, where you can get in touch with Glenda and avail yourself of her services. So, Andrea, we're back. We're back live.
Yeah, that being the apropos word. Yes, live. Live on the air. No
Live
dead
on
air
the
here.
Guess what, Andrea? We're back on live.
Oh, great. Wonderful.
And I'm going to get killed because I said I was going to throw to Glenda.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. He'll get it from you and I, Andrea. Don't worry.
Oh, boy.
Mm-hmm.
An energy ball
Truly.
sandwich.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, I truly have been looking forward to this all week. You know, it's a nice actual break for me from some very solitary, intense, focused work where I actually get to talk to other human beings. And although I'm not sure that either one of you qualify completely as such, but
you want to explain that, lady?
I get to speak with my own kindred spirit. You know, those who understand virtually everything that comes out of my mouth. That I think serves a great purpose in the grand scheme of things. To have people that you can talk to that get you, you know, that matters. And there are an awful lot of people out in the world that feel very alone and feel like solitary even when they're in a crowd, you know, like they're just disattached. It's like a dissociative disorder that's going on in humanity right now. And I understand it. I totally commune with those people in spirit because I understand how it feels to pull yourself away from the world and say, no, this is too hard. This is too much. This is too sad. It's you know, the news this week has been horrific, just horrific. And yet none of us are surprised. So we're living in a very a dark and a dangerous and a complicated world. And sometimes the only way to be the light is to literally step out of the darkness for a while. I almost just got hit in the head with a cardinal that was flying too fast. It missed me by about 6 inches.
You wanted to be on the show.
I like the visits, but, you know, when they become hazardous to one's health, it's something to reconsider. Needless to say, I'm sitting outside. I don't have a cardinal flying around inside the house.
Or a
I'm
pope, for
staying
that
right
matter.
now.
That'd be a new set of problems.
That's why I wore white today.
And
that's why I wore
say
white
that
today.
again.
Because, normally I wear black for the show. It's just easier to get the dragon poop out of it. But, given the Irish flag, and the green stands for the Irish Catholics and the orange stands for the Irish Protestants, and the white in the middle stands for peace. And it was just that kind of a week where I just wanted to make that symbolic gesture, because peace and love is really what drives us in all of our experiences. I know that that's really what's at the base of everything you do. And, we just have to hold our own from the forces that are trying to separate and divide us.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's easier said than done. And that's why people retract, like a cat retracts its claws. It's a self-protective mechanism. It's a coping skill to remove ourselves when it all gets to be too much. But the only way for us to really come around right is to reconnect with, like-minded individuals like yourselves. And so this lifts me up and out of not only a difficult technical process that I'm involved in terms of the layout of the book, but it pulls me away from the news for a couple of hours, and it puts me in my right and proper space. No pun intended, or maybe pun intended, but in my space with people who dwell there with me, I guess is the best way to put it. There's nothing easy about this life, and the test always comes before the lesson. So it's hard to come to grips with the need for solitude, and yet I think it's integral to who we are. I was watching Sunday Morning, which is my favorite show on TV every week on CBS, and they did a piece about a new author. She's 70 years old, so I'm 60, so that gave me some hope right off the bat, who has just spent a decade writing what will probably win the Pulitzer Prize. She's 3 weeks at the top of the New York Times bestseller list.
Wow.
With her story of her, it's her memoir, but it's done in third person with another character. I think it's Where the Crawdads Sing. You can check that, Larry, on the Google Meister. But I told my mother, I said, okay, Mom, I'm ordering this book for you today. You have to have this book today. And it's about her solitude. It's about, she said, loneliness so deep that you forget to breathe. And a lot of people feel that.
Well, it's so wonderful that they have a beacon, and it's wonderful for us to be on the tail end of the comet that is streaking across the universe named Andrea Perron. So as we pull people up out of the minutia, because God's in the details, and we don't have to concern ourselves with the details, into the global picture of love and peace and omnism, oneism, that we are all the same. We're all part of the same universe, and we each hold our space equally in that universe. And, sometimes when you're that voice, when you're trying to be that voice, I know you remember how I used to say, when you aspire to be Christ-like, you'd best prepare to be crucified.
Yeah.
It is a challenge, but you have met that challenge with such courage and such tenacity, and we are so grateful to, be part of that evolution as you're now bringing it to fruition in this incredible book that people can't wait to get their hands on. And rightly so.
I can't wait. I can't wait.
You can't wait to be free of it.
Beyond 4 months later than it was supposed to be. And in the interim, while I've been putting all of this together and working as tenaciously as a bulldog on this project, because I want this to be perfect. My readers deserve nothing less than my very best effort. But
Andrea, you always put your very best effort in everything you do.
Yes, I do, and it's exhausting. I wish that I could just skate through life, It's just like, oh, yeah, okay, that's half-assed, but that's all right. It's good enough, That's not me.
That's not you. That's not us.
Nope, that is not me.
Nope. And that's what the readers love about it, because they know that there's always 100 and something percent, or over 100% of you in everything you do. And the love and the care shows in your writing, in your everything, including the potato salad, by the way, which I do remember.
Oh, I'll make that for you again, darling. Don't you worry. That's easy. Start to finish, 45 minutes.
There you go.
And that's if I'm taking my time, So yeah, don't you worry. I'll make that for you again sometime.
But the voice that you wrote in the chapter about Dad in the book, that voice is just so compelling and so nurturing that, people just drink that in. And that's why they flock to you when you make your personal appearances, because you take them out and you say, okay, so here's how you see it. And you open them up to that fifth dimension, and there it is.
Yep.
And, it's fun for us because Glenda does her classes with the mediumship and the psychic development, and she did a class with kids yesterday teaching them Reiki. And when they hit Grandma with that energy ball yesterday, it reminded me of the descriptions of you at a gallery just opening up the sky and showing people where the crafts are and what they look like. And it's just so wonderful that there are people in the world that give all of themselves. I mean, we would have been more than happy to take you out to dinner. He said, no, you're coming back to the house. I'm making dinner.
Yep.
And, you just, you can't duplicate that.
No.
That's just a once-in-a-lifetime experience for someone to have. And for someone to, have you come into their lives and open them up into that fifth dimension.
Well, I appreciate that very much. It really is the thing that I do that I enjoy the most. Being the facilitator, being the official hostess with the Mostess that does, the introductions is great fun, and it's filled with anticipation and all kinds of energy. The energy is just over the top. When I did an event last year, hold on, I have to sneeze.
Live radio, folks.
Yep, it's live radio. Sorry.
That's okay. God bless you.
Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not stuffed up my nose right now. Anyway. I'm learning as I go too. I just started doing this with people a few years ago, and I don't even know what prompted it. I don't remember how it happened, but I had like 50 or 75 people around me, and it was the night John Zaffis went into meltdown the next morning because he's very reticent about extraterrestrials. And he came into the conference room of the event. It was at the Sault Ste. Marie, Upper Peninsula, Michigan, Paracon about 3 or 4 years ago. I'm not sure. Time flies. But he came in the next morning and he threw the local Sault Ste. Marie newspaper on my table. And he said, "You did this." And I opened it up, and the headline was a report that the Sault Ste. Marie Police Department had been flooded with calls about extraterrestrial sightings, UFOs in the sky over Sault Ste. Marie the night before. And I just smiled at him, and I said, yes, I did. Yes, I did this.
You rascal, you.
You know, but I was thrilled and delighted. The look on his face belied his true emotions about it. I mean, he's never gone out with me, even though I've been to countless different events with him. He will not. I mean, I swear to God, the man in bright sunshine will open an umbrella and walk to his car so he doesn't have to look up at the sky. He's just afraid of them. I'm working on him, bless his heart. You know, you'd be amazed how many people who are at the pinnacle of the paranormal that have no fear about. I mean, he's basically a demonologist. You know, I mean, he's just, and yet, this is not a subject and there are several that are scared by what I do, and I don't understand that. It seems to me that would be like the most exciting part of doing an event. You know, it is for me. But I had no idea that first night that by just doing what I do for myself to connect with them, that it would open everybody else up to that process. And there were several people that were in that group that night. One of them came to me, and she was, sobbing. I mean, she was just crying her heart out. And her name's Nicole, and she wrote a testimonial for the book. And her husband took her out on a dare. She's like, that's BS. I'm not going out there. That's like, no, I love Andrea, but no, that's crazy. That's not going to happen. And he dared her, and so that's what it took for her to come out. And she came up to me, and she's like, I'm so sorry I ever doubted you. I'm so sorry. I can't believe. I mean, I was so afraid, and I just didn't want to know anything about this. And now I have to apologize to you, and I have to apologize to my mother and to my grandmother and to my grandfather and to my Uncle Sam. And, she just, and the poor thing, she was just like, and I'm like, calm down, honey. It's okay. You take a breath, breathe. It's a deep emotional impact on people when it happens.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, I was up there, or maybe it was last year. Maybe it could have been last year that I was up there. Maybe it was. But anyway, I lose track of time because it's irrelevant. So anyway, there was a beautiful purple vessel in the sky that everybody saw, and it was coming, and it came down right to earth, and it landed on my shoulder, and then it went up on my head, and then it was dancing around the bottom of my skirt, and then it came into like the solar plexus area, like my heart, like right in the center of me, and just went inside me and never came out. And people were freaking. They were freaking, and some lady got it on film. She posted it online. I got to ask her this year. I think she's coming back if she can send it to me so I can download it, because I only saw it once on her phone. But it was really an amazing thing to see. I mean, it went in and nobody ever saw it come out. Now, I have been filmed with what people call orbs, or, energy balls, light, balls of light that will come into me and not leave. That will come into me and then leave out the other side of me. I've been filmed that happening to me, but not ever before where it went in and then it just stayed. But it was the same one that broke my phone. It was the same one, it was small and every color of purple to lavender to every shade of purple, and just like little sparks shooting off of it. It was absolutely beautiful. And I caught it in my phone too, and it wrecked my phone. It fried the motherboard in my prior phone to the one that I have now. And I told them, look, I don't care if you want to be in my house, if you want to be in my computer, if you want to be in any of my technology, that's fine. But if you break it, you have to buy me a new one. You know, I had to pay $600 to go replace that phone, and nobody wrote me an intergalactic check. You know, so
I was going to say, if they
that
write you
pissed me
one,
off.
I need one too for a few of my electronical stuff.
Okay, Andrea, they wrote this book with you. So, I promise you, I don't need to be an intuitive. You'll get your freaking money. And speaking of money, I want to know how much George R. Lopez paid Amazon to ship out in a flicker with the cover of the new book on it.
Oh, my God. I called him up the first time that it happened. Okay, the book was supposed to be out on your birthday.
On my birthday.
December 24th. And that was when it's supposed to have its release date. And about 2-3 weeks before, my publisher called and said, Andrea, there's no way we're going to get this book out on the release date, so we're going to have Amazon push it back and put a to be announced TBA on it. And I said, okay, that's fine. You know, I mean, however, it'll get out when it gets done. I can't work any harder than I am. So, you know, it'll be done when it's done. And the process, people don't know how intricate the publishing process is unless they do books.
Oh, yeah.
You know, unless they're writers themselves. It's very tedious. It's very time consuming. It's very complicated. It's a lot of work on both sides, author and publisher. And so I just kind of threw my hands up in the air and said, you know, it was another WTF moment for me. I was like, okay, fine. Just, you know, put TBA on it. And then Amazon, somehow, because that corporation's so big that one hand doesn't know what the other one's doing, they don't. They're just too big.
I'm telling you, Lopez did it. Lopez did it. I'm blaming Lopez.
Well,
he wanted to get more copies of In a Flicker out there.
I know. I called him up and I said, George, I have discovered a new way to promote In a Flicker.
Get your name off of it.
I know, honest to God. So, so I don't know. I mean, there were lots of pre-orders, and I don't know how many they shipped that way until we finally got them to shut it down.
They were still shipping them.
Like 3 weeks to get them to shut it down. And now they've got some obscure thing on there, or at least one of my friends said they put up something about there is some particular issue or problem with this book. Well, you know, considering I trashed the federal government, now people are going to think that they're the ones that are holding it up. And it's me. You know, I've got to finish the proof. So I swear to God, as far as I know, the federal government has nothing to do with the book because they don't even have the text. So they can't even review it and get mad about it yet. So,
I love that. Yeah.
And so In a Flicker was placed. You can't just put a cover of a book up. It's got to have a file in it.
Yeah.
And so what my publisher did was grabbed the file from the last book that I published with him and put that in as the file to hold the spot on Amazon so that we could take orders. And that's how this whole thing transpired. And they sent, I don't know how many books out. And almost everybody that got one that wrote to me about it said, I'm keeping it as the ultimate collector's item. There's never going to be another one like it. I want you to sign it. I want George to sign it. And then I'll get your book when it's available.
So you're just ahead of your time, dear, because what was sent was a blunder to behold.
Right? It's some serious guerrilla marketing.
It was a blunder to behold. And I had my publisher call them 3-4 times. I wrote to them personally. I was like, you need to take this down. Stop filling orders for this book. It's not ready yet. I am the author. I would know if it's ready yet. I'm not trying to piss off Mark Bezos or whatever his name, Jeff Bezos, whatever his name is.
Something
He's got
Bezos.
enough.
One of those
bozos.
bozos.
He doesn't care about me. But, here's the thing. Whoever got one, if you kept it, I'll be happy to sign it. I'll be happy to have George sign it. He only lives 90 minutes away. We'll figure it out. And I'm so sorry that happened. And, you know, it said everything happens for a reason. I do not know what the reason was. It was the most inauspicious launch of any book in history. And I was absolutely beside myself with distress about it when it happened. But now I just look at it and I just throw my hands in the air just like everything else. It's like it'll be done when it's done. I can't work any faster. I can't work any harder. And I want it to be perfect. So I just implore everybody, be patient with me because it will be worth the wait. I promise it will be.
Well, this just goes to the adage that control is an illusion. And
it is completely.
And that
the universe laughs in my face.
and that harkens back to what's been happening to society as a whole, because what props up governments is the illusion of control. If the people ever realize that they can take their power anytime they want, there goes that illusion. So the whole suppression of paranormal, of the one consciousness, of everybody being able to communicate with everybody else simultaneously, it's very important to the illusion of power to keep that suppressed. And haven't they been working overtime trying to do that? However, their time is up, because with this book, with the ascension to 5D and all that's going on, you know, it's only a matter of time before people realize that it's like the Matrix. It's not real. It's just what they want you to believe. And I can't tell you how grateful I am to just have a seat on this roller coaster with you.
I hope you're bringing an oxygen tank and a mask, because this is about to get crazy.
Well, you know, we kind of have that oversight of the archangels. And so, you know, when Glenda and I go out and we face a chaotic entity that somebody somewhere thinks it's an idea to promote their book and stir stuff up in their house and put their kids at risk to, you know, keep this thing bigger than it is. And we just look at it and go, you know, you see who's on our shoulder. You see who's behind us. If Michael says you can, I guess you can. But we're here for greatest good, and you got nothing. And it really transpires all the way down the line. We go out there every day, like you go out there every day, and tell the truth. And people hate it because the truth is their enemy. All they have is the lie. Yeah. We're going to throw it a break and come back shortly. Andrea, if you need a couple of minutes, this is your chance.
Okay.
Greece is cheap.
But the airfare costs a fortune.
Paris?
Not much closer. And again, airfare...
What about Puerto Vallarta?
Let's face it, flying anywhere is just too expensive.
Wait, what's this? Low-cost airlines.
With one call to low-cost airlines, you'll drastically slash your travel costs. We're talking insanely low airline prices to any of your favorite destinations. Where would you like to go? London, Rome, Costa Rica, Australia?
Wow, that's cheap.
So why wait? Call now to learn how crazy cheap it is to fly anywhere in the U.S. or international. Our prices are so low, we can't publish them. The only way to get them is to call to instantly hear the most amazing best deals on airline travel. It's that easy. So call now and start packing.
800-470-1834. 800-470-1834. 800-470-1834. That's 800-470-1834.
When I need a cut, I go to Diamond Cuts. Ain't no half cutting there. Oh, yeah. Woo, man, at Diamond Cuts, their barbers got the freshest styles. Anything from fades, seasons, high tops, blowouts, shape-up, tape-ups, and much more. Their barbers can cut men, women, children, young and old. Stop by Diamond Cut at 144 Pocono Boulevard in Mount Pocono, PA. Or just call at 570-216-4912. Ain't no half cutting there, baby paw. yo Stan, yo Ant, yo Black, yo Light Skin, yo E, where y'all at?
If you're struggling to pay or haven't been making your student loan payments, listen carefully to this urgent alert. Have you been out of school for 10 or more years and you're still making your student loan payments? Are your student loans past due or even in default? Can't go back to school because of an old student loan problem? We can help you if you qualify. Your student loans can be taken out of default. We can stop the wage garnishments, stop the collection calls, and stop the seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and see if we can help you reduce your student loan payments. One quick 10-minute call could solve them right now. So call the Student Loan Helpline now. 800-731-7534, 800-731-7534, 800-731-7534, 800-731-7534. This is a fee-based document preparation service to help you access free government programs. Call for complete details, not available in all states.
Attention timeshare owners. This is an urgent consumer alert from Resort Release, a national company specializing in helping consumers legally get out of their expensive timeshare contract. Resort Release is offering a Better Business Bureau accredited way to legally get rid of your timeshare guaranteed. With our guarantee and transfer service, you'll never pay another timeshare maintenance bill again, and your contract will be terminated. You can begin saving today, even if you've tried another company to get rid of your timeshare. Call and see if we can help. At Resort Release, we only accept payment after an agreement has been made to get you out of your timeshare. Make this completely free call and learn how this honest Midwest-based company can help anyone, anywhere, legally get out of their timeshare nightmare guaranteed. Call right now to qualify and receive a free consultation.
800-598-0539, 800-598-0539, 800-598-0539. That's 800-598-0539.
If you or someone you love suffers from drug or alcohol addiction, now is the time to utilize your private health insurance PPO plan to receive up to $30,000 or more in substance abuse benefits so that you have low or no out-of-pocket costs. We quickly help you verify your health insurance coverage amounts for substance abuse treatment so you can prepare for immediate admittance to a medical detox or residential rehab treatment center now. Select from locations nationwide while receiving up to $30,000 or more in coverage through your private health insurance PPO plan if eligible. We are the National Treatment Network, the premier matching service available 24/7. We help you use your PPO private health insurance with low or no out-of-pocket costs.
Call now, 800-961-2480. 800-961-2480. 800-961-2480. 800-961-2480. That's 800-961-2480.
Hi, this is Andrea Perron. You're listening to Glenda's Dragon's Den, where everything is wild and untamed.
And we're back.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Glenda's Dragon's Den with our special guest and friend, Andrea Perron.
Hi, I want you to know how wisely I used my commercial time. I made a pot of coffee, i.e. the nectar of the gods.
Yes.
Oh,
And if
that's
you listen,
what I was smelling.
Can
I
you
was
hear
like,
it? Yeah,
oh
can you
my
hear it?
God.
It's perking right here. Can you hear it?
It sounds delicious.
Yes.
I know. Isn't that? Oh, if you could smell. I mean, because I make it might as well come through as sludge. For as
I
strong
love
as
it.
make
Oh, I can't stand weak coffee.
Oh, I know. That's useless warm brown water is all that
Yes.
is. And don't even discuss decaf with me.
Oh,
I mean,
God.
that stuff's just toxic.
I hate decaf. Like, always, like, the older people in my family, like, Ashley, we're making some coffee. You want some decaf? I'm like, I'm sorry. I didn't want to drink water. I wanted coffee.
Hey, I'm not old.
Yeah, I know. Not to mention the fact that the way that they take the caffeine out of the pills is by using a chemical wash that has not yet been determined whether or not that's a carcinogen.
Yeah.
Okay, no, you can keep
Give me
your
my
decaf.
caffeine.
Thank you
It's
very
like, I'll
much.
keep it natural.
There's
I will
enough
die
in our
naturally.
environment killing us right now. Thanks.
Oh, boy.
honey.
Yeah. I'm fine. I'm fine. Which honey are you talking to?
You know, I'm at that stage where I'm just grateful if anyone answers. But I don't know if you heard over the break. I think the green beer and the Irish soda bread that the dragon had last night is starting to work its way through. Yes. So I may have to do a little wrangling a little later in the show.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Did you hear that, Andrea?
Yeah, it's lovely.
Yeah.
Oh, she's being kind.
She is kind. So, in the next hour, where do you want to go, Andrea? What do you want to talk about? What's on your mind? We can go anywhere you want.
I'd like to go off planet if nobody minds. You know, I mean, if I promise to come back, but
no, we don't have to.
Yeah, I would really. Well, actually, I had an experience today, which, knowing me, you'd be like, well, you know, how much different is that from yesterday? You know, but
it's the paranormal.
It is. It is a paranormal part of life for me. But I have not had a lot of vessel sightings in the last few weeks. And it's like I feel them around me and I feel what's going on, and I feel like there's stuff going on. Larry, you and I have talked about this, and I think I discussed it with Glenda too, about it's like they're having a strategery session or something. I don't know.
Yep.
But I always make fun of George Bush whenever I have an opportunity to.
Absolutely.
So
I still say strategery to this day.
Yeah, to this day. I mean, that is his word. You think of him, and there's just one word that comes to mind. But anyway.
I got a few others, but I can't say them on the air.
Well, yes, exactly.
Why not?
But that's the funniest one. So, anyway, I went out today and I was like, I miss you guys. I just haven't, seen it. And I know why you're not doing it. You're not doing it so that, and when I say doing it, I mean, showing me full vessels and, coming to visit in a more closer proximity than out in the vastness of outer space where I get lots of flashes and lights and streaks and, and all of that stuff. But I really like my up close and personal contacts. And the last few weeks have been very, very quiet. And this morning, I went out and I just had a little talk with them. And I said, I'm not taking this personally. I know why you're doing it, because you're afraid that if you show me anything else that's so freaking spectacular that I actually have to go back and include it in the book. And you're giving me a break now here. I know what's going on. I do. But I also feel that there is some strategery involved, because not in terms of getting me to get this book finished, but there's stuff happening that I can't say exactly what it is. I don't know exactly what it is, because if I did, I would say it. You know me well enough to know I would.
I just have to stop you a minute.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah. I need to know that if you and Mom use that word in Scrabble, is that now included in the dictionary? Strategery?
No, it's not. It's not allowed in Scrabble.
Okay.
It's not. And it'd be like a 9-letter word anyway. It'd be practically impossible to make. So.
Well, you'd have to.
So anyway, I got a good flash, and I got validated this morning about what's going on with why they're keeping their distance, because they know that they need to stir me up, but they need to do it from a distance right now. They know that, and they know that that's in my best interest. And I would venture to guess that both of you would confirm that for me through your own, via your own connections. But I got a zap of energy today that I needed, like air to breathe, like really like air to breathe, just zap.
So what'd you get, the full Monty? How'd they flash you?
Whoa.
No, it's just not like, that's not how it is, Larry.
That's not right.
What's
wrong with you?
No, don't make me leap through this phone. Don't make me, because you know I can.
Hey, anytime I get to see you is a good time for me. So tell us what you got.
No,
what happened?
but I do.
Describe
I
it.
get flashed. I get flashes of lights. I get bright, sparkly, all different colors. The purple is my favorite. I really enjoy that the most, but I got a bright red flash last night as I went out to take Sammy out for his last little run in the playpen. Mm-hmm. And I'm always grateful every single time. It's like new. It's bright and new and beautiful and wonderful, and I'm so grateful. But I really do hope that, and I wrote about this in the book too. You both, I'm sure, read the section where I said, if it never happens again, if I never have another encounter, if I never have another sighting, just what's happened to me in my life has been so extraordinary, so wonderful, beyond any superlative that this language or any other could offer, that I would be satisfied and okay with it because I love them and they know it. And I'm their advocate and they know it. And I had a lot of help writing this book. I do not claim full and unique credit for getting this volume out into the world because they had an awful lot to do with it.
Well, and all being well and good, you know, we can't let that happen because, I mean, Glenda knows I love her too, but I still flash her.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, not in the house.
Not in the
Not
studio.
in the house.
What house?
No, that can only happen in public if it's going to have any impact at all.
Exactly. You know him. He wants the full impact.
Yeah.
Is an exhibitionist? I scared myself. No.
Okay, I'm back outside with the birdies now, hoping that I don't get dive bombed by another cardinal. Good Lord, they're beautiful. They're so extraordinary. So anyway, one thing that I wanted to talk about that we started to touch on earlier in the last segment, but that I would like to bring round full circle is that, you know, the darkness and the light have to find a way to coexist. One cannot exist without the other. And so as I watched everything transpire and unfold in New Zealand over the last few days, and I saw the people of every background, every religion coming to support the community that has just been so vilely offended. You know, murder is murder. It doesn't matter what your affiliations are when you're dead in a coffin. Murder is murder. And this was mass murder, another mass murder. And none of us are, you know, anybody that's cognizant, anybody that's paying attention to what's going on in the world, was really all that surprised that it happened again. I was surprised it didn't happen in this country. I was surprised it happened in a country with a reputation for being very peaceful.
Yeah.
But what happened is in response to it, in the same way that there was a response to Parkland and a response to Aurora and a response to Manchester, England, and a response to Charleston, there was an outpouring of grief and support from the people of New Zealand that wrapped their arms around their Muslim community and said, we love you, we'll protect you. And in a sick, sad way, it raised the vibration of this planet that this happened. And none of us can afford to lose sight of this because horrible things happen on this planet every single day, whether or not we are personally aware of them.
Yes.
But it is the outpouring of grief and the support that is uniform among humanity that steps up to lift up those in deepest grief. That's where the vibration changes. So bad things are going to happen. What we need to do is focus on our response to it, and make sure that our outpouring of emotion has to deal with affection, has to deal with kindness and generosity and love. And if we can focus all of our attention and our energy on loving those people well, then healing will come from this. Healing will eventually come from this. And at the very least, it spotlighted some things that needed to be spotlighted politically, geopolitically around this country in terms of the responses or lack thereof of the so-called leaders of the world.
Well, you know where I sit on this stuff, and all of this is an opportunity for us to realize that we are one, that we are all connected. And the tragedy itself, the horrors of what happens in this life overall, are raising the frequency. And in the training that I was able to get as a coach, it was broken down into actual frequency. And the negative emotions cannot sustain themselves. They collapse because the frequencies are so low and so heavy.
Yeah, the density is oppressive.
But the higher frequencies are the ones that resonate, and they create resonance, and they have harmonics, and they are sustainable. And so every time something like this happens, it's horrible and it's terrible, and it's something that cannot be explained, cannot be justified, and cannot even really be put into perspective. But what happens from it, every idiot that goes out in senseless violence triggers a tsunami of love and a tsunami of peace. And that is the legacy of each one of these events. And it's getting to a point where we are now self-sustaining, and more people are rejecting the cloak and the illusion of control and realizing that you have nothing that I am afraid of. And that's, to me, the beauty of the dovetail between the paranormal and the visitors and our life in this moment in our level of evolution, because it all tends to uplift us if we pay that mutual respect and recognize the unified cohesion that it's creating. So,
well, because what we need to do is all understand that we are each part and parcel of a unified field of consciousness. That's all that there is, consciousness.
Correct.
And when we understand that everything is energy, and that energy can neither be created nor destroyed, and it does it with our death and with the death of any living conscious being, disperses and transforms into another form of life or another form of something, whether or not we understand what that is. Its existence isn't contingent upon our belief in it, is what I'm trying to say.
Very true. It's amazing how people don't understand that.
Well, I'm really hoping that, I spent a great deal of time denoting these concepts in the book. It really is, in some respects, philosophical diatribe on transcendentalism. It explores consciousness in a way that I don't know of any other volume that has. And I think that in the people that have read it, the original manuscript before it's, been all tidied and laid out and made all pretty, have said to me in response to it that it opened them up in a way that nothing else ever has. Now, in terms of you and Glenda, Larry, you were already there. So for you, it was like, I'm sure reading it was like just preaching to the choir. But I really do hope that anybody that has a fascination about extraterrestrials, that has a fascination about the spirit realm, the, alternate dimensions, fourth, fifth dimension and beyond, will delve into this with an open mind. because, as I said in the prologue, there are things that are written in this volume that are quite literally unbelievable. I get that. If they hadn't happened to me, I don't know if I would believe it. So I get it. But I tell people, just read it with an open mind, take it in, and always rely upon your own personal power of discernment. If something doesn't make sense, if it's not something that you could even visualize happening, if it's just something that makes you uncomfortable, or even a little bit, we're all fear-based carbon units, and, we just have varying degrees of fear. But there are things in the book that have been a little scary to some people. Mm-hmm. And so I say, just lay it aside and process it. Just think about it, or not, put it out of your mind, revisit it at a later time, and see what happens. Almost everyone who's read it so far, which is less than a dozen people, have said that their sightings have increased exponentially since reading the book. Wow. And that's what I was hoping for.
Well, the thing that you've done here for me, and, you can tell me if this resonates with you or if this is something that you were trying to do, is you take Tesla's theory of everything is frequency and I can pull energy out of the air, and combine that with, say, the art of Reiki, which is the same thing. It's pulling energy out of the air and then focusing it to facilitate healing. And then you put it into the words that a layman can understand, that a layman can relate to. And if that isn't enough, you grab all of these lyrics, all of these quotes from all of these people from, I think you go back BC, as I recall, to present day,
Yeah, Hermes Trismegistus, I believe, is the oldest quotation that I have. I think it's 2,400 years old.
Right. So you put all of this together to validate these points till it's irrefutable. And so if you just read the book, it all begins to make sense, no matter what dogma you've been oppressed with, no matter how many times you've been shut down, no matter how many times you've been made to feel like you're stupid because you're trying to explain these things. This book is validation for everyone that has been manipulated into suppression.
Yeah, I think that, if someone were to get the book and before even reading it were to scan, just read the quotations, I think that it would open them up in remarkable ways. I mean, this is a collection that I very carefully chose, and then you and Glenda went through to make sure that I had it exactly right. Every quote was exactly perfect, according to the author and the name and the referencing and where it came from and all of that. So that, I put this out into the world feeling like I have captured and contained some of the greatest thoughts that have ever been thought in human history. And there are scientists and scholars now that say, well, we don't really have any new thoughts per se, that, everything that exists in the unified field of consciousness has always existed there. And so therefore, we're just tapping into that higher level of consciousness as we're evolving. And that very well may be true, but we are evolving at such a rapid rate now. There are things that have been societally that have been accepted, ignored, shunned, cast aside, slipped under the rug for so many years, 150 years, just in terms of one subject, slavery, just that. And these are things that are being addressed societally now because a flamethrower hit the bottom of the cauldron. This is the paradigm shift. And everything toxic that had filtered to the bottom of it has boiled to the surface. And that's the only way that it can be cleansed by the light. The darkest of the dark of the muck and the mire is surfacing. Excuse me. I need coffee.
Yes, coffee.
Well, we're going to go to break. You grab some coffee.
I can get rid of this allergy. Everything here is green and yellow. Everything. Ugh. I can't even breathe.
Well, we're going to throw to break, and you go caffeinate, and we will percolate through the last part of the show and beyond if you're willing to stay with us a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
See you in a bit.
If you're struggling to pay or haven't been making your student loan payments, listen carefully to this urgent alert. Have you been out of school for 10 or more years and you're still making your student loan payments? Are your student loans past due or even in default? Can't go back to school because of an old student loan problem? We can help you if you qualify. Your student loans can be taken out of default. We can stop the wage garnishments, stop the collection calls, and stop the seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and see if we can help you reduce your student loan payments. One quick 10-minute call could solve them right now. So call the Student Loan Helpline now. 800-731-7534, 800-731-7534, 800-731-7534, 800-731-7534. This is a fee-based document preparation service to help you access free government programs. Call for complete details, not available in all states.
When I need a cut, I go to Diamond Cuts. Ain't no half cutting there. Oh, yeah. Woo, man, at Diamond Cuts, their barbers got the freshest styles. Anything from fades, Caesars, high tops, blowouts, shape-up, tape-ups, and much more. Their barbers can cut men, women, children, young and old. Stop by Diamond Cut at 144 Pocono Boulevard in Mount Pocono, PA. Or just call at 570-216-4912. Ain't no half cutting there, baby paw. Yo, Stan, yo, Ant, yo, Black, yo, Light Skin, yo, E, where y'all at?
If you or someone you love suffers from drug or alcohol addiction, now is the time to utilize your private health insurance PPO plan to receive up to $30,000 or more in substance abuse benefits so that you have low or no out-of-pocket costs. We quickly help you verify your health insurance coverage amounts for substance abuse treatment so you can prepare for immediate admittance to a medical detox or residential rehab treatment center now. Select from locations nationwide while receiving up to $30,000 or more in coverage through your private health insurance PPO plan if eligible. We are the National Treatment Network, the premier matching service available 24/7. We help you use your PPO private health insurance with low or no out-of-pocket costs.
Call now, 800-961-2480. 800-961-2480. 800-961-2480. 800-961-2480. That's 800-961-2480.
Attention timeshare owners. This is an urgent consumer alert from Resort Release, a national company specializing in helping consumers legally get out of their expensive timeshare contract. Resort Release is offering a Better Business Bureau accredited way to legally get rid of your timeshare guaranteed. With our guarantee and transfer service, you'll never pay another timeshare maintenance bill again, and your contract will be terminated. You can begin saving today, even if you've tried another company to get rid of your timeshare. Call and see if we can help. At Resort Release, we only accept payment after an agreement has been made to get you out of your timeshare. Make this completely free call and learn how this honest Midwest-based company can help anyone, anywhere, legally get out of their timeshare nightmare guaranteed. Call right now to qualify and receive a free consultation.
800-598-0539. 800-598-0539. 800-598-0539. That's 800-598-0539.
Greece is cheap.
But the airfare costs a fortune.
Paris?
Not much closer, and again, airfare...
What about Puerto Vallarta?
Let's face it, flying anywhere is just too expensive.
Wait, what's this? low-cost airlines.
With one call to low-cost airlines, you'll drastically slash your travel costs. We're talking insanely low airline prices to any of your favorite destinations. Where would you like to go? London, Rome, Costa Rica, Australia?
Wow, that's cheap.
So why wait? Call now to learn how crazy cheap it is to fly anywhere in the U.S. or international. Our prices are so low, we can't publish them. The only way to get them is to call to instantly hear the most amazing best deals on airline travel. It's that easy. So call now and start packing.
800-470-1834. 800-470-1834. 800-470-1834. That's 800-470-1834.
Hi, this is Andrea Perron. You're listening to Glenda's Dragon's Den, where everything is wild and untamed.
Welcome back to Glenda's Dragon's Den. The dragon has wished me a happy St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, that's so good. I love dragons. They're so cool.
Well, when you feed them too much green beer and Irish soda bread, this is what happens. But the dragon's feeling much better now.
You'll have to watch the video later to see.
Yeah.
There might have been some draconic shenanigans.
Leprechauns, friggin' leprechauns, I'm telling you.
Always after me, Lucky Charms.
Yeah, wow. I think they're just grays all dressed up for the holidays.
There you go.
Somewhere over the rainbow.
Yep, somewhere. Well, I always thought, being St. Patrick's Day, we can talk a little bit about Irish folklore, because I included a story in the book, A Wonder to Behold, that was actually quite fascinating. I don't know if I sent that section to you or not. But excuse me, I had had a couple of close encounters with a vessel that came in and landed in the top of the palm trees in my neighbor's at the entrance to her driveway, directly across the street from me. And then last summer, as I was working on the book and I was writing furiously, I got called out in the middle of the night, and there they were again. And the message that I got, which was blatant in my face, was, "Don't forget us." And my response was, whoa, wait a minute. I didn't forget you. I didn't forget you. No, of course, how could I forget you? What do you mean? And I went back in, and I had just closed up my computer in the man cave for the night, and I opened up the computer and I went back in to the document and for the original text of this book and read through the entire thing, and I had indeed forgotten to include their story. And so I stayed up till 5 o'clock in the morning writing the vignette in Conscious Contact called Hearts of Palm. And these creatures, these beings, have wings, and they're only maybe 15, 16 inches tall, and their wingspan is wider than they are tall. And there were two of them, and they were flying back and forth between the palm trees. And so that whole entire section, the chapter Conscious Contact, is about seeing these beings and having always thought that, fairies, the existence of fairies were a lovely Irish folklore, but that I didn't actually believe that they existed. And now I do, except that they're extraterrestrials. So that's one of my favorite stories in the book. It's loaded. It's just gobbed up with the stories of my lifetime and the things that I have seen with my own two eyes, and from the age of 12 or 13, I think I was 13 when I saw the flotilla of ships pass over the farm. But I think what was interesting and what I spent a lot of time on is, as you both know, in terms of my own research, in terms of my own investigation, what I've studied of this throughout the course of my lifetime, I always thought that there was a point of correlation and integration between the whole ET thing and ghosts and spirits, that they were somehow interconnected and integrated. But I didn't know how. And I firmly believe that it's because of moving to the farm and dwelling among the dead that opened me up fully to being able to see extra-dimensionally, interdimensionally, ultra-dimensionally, so that I can see things that are happening in multiple dimensions simultaneously, which is why, in terms of any empirical evidence that I have gathered, I just, I basically state, look, I lived in a place where 1 minute it could be 1972 and the next moment it could be 1872 or 1772 or 1672, and that this was happening simultaneously when a family of spirits sees my mother and she's the ghost and they're peering into the future while she is simultaneously peering into the past. I think that is ample evidence of dimensions existing simultaneously.
Yes.
It's not residual energy. I know what residual energy is. It's different.
Well, it's not only different, but the frequencies of those dimensions is different. And the rules of those dimensions are different.
Yes.
And so, when Glenda and I go out and confront an entity that's from a different dimension, we kind of have to come with an open mind as to why that entity is upset and what it's going to take to reach consensus, because that's what we do. We don't, go and investigate really anymore. What we do, we call remediation and resolution, so that Glenda usually knows what's there before we go and gets advice either from her guides or the archangels on what's necessary, and goes by her lifetime of experience in how to work with me to remediate these entities. But, we have people that want to believe that life is about going to McDonald's whenever you want and playing golf whenever you want, and in the meantime, ruling the free world.
Yeah.
But it's a lot more than that. And, I just find it humorous that people struggle with that knowledge to cope in a four-dimensional world and make sense of it and explain it to other people and get put through the ringer. I mean, you sat beside a co-host for years who poo-pooed all of this, in you. And I think you've come to terms with some of that in the book. But isn't this, in the end, freeing for you to be able to say, look, it's not just me anymore. Everybody can do this. And you could do it too if you opened your freaking mind to it.
Yep. And that it's not just the opening of the mind. It is truly and supremely the opening of the heart. That's the key. Because the mind can be easily tricked. The mind can suffer illusions. The mind can. This is heart connection. I mean, E.T. had it right all along. The little botanist that got left behind. This is about heart light.
Well, I mean, the Beatles got it right way before E.T. All you need is love.
Yeah. Well, Jesus got it right too.
Yeah, well, if you're going to bring him into
this is, it's very interesting. And, I haven't told anybody this. So I'm very glad to share it with you and your listeners tonight, because this is a thing that happened that I had to include in the book, that I put in as extra text at the end of editing this book. As I've, gone through the proof, I had to include it. And my publisher's like, Andrea, really? It's going to throw off every single page. Yes, I know. Just put it in. Please just do it, because this has to go in. But not long after I got here, I came up here to Villa Rica, Georgia, to be with my mother and my sister Christine, and my sister Cindy lives just down the road. And on January 30th for Christine's birthday, and I've been here ever since. And sometime during that time, as Mom and I were playing Scrabble, she stopped and she looked up to me and she said, "Did I ever tell you about the spaceship that my mother saw?" And it was like, well, I used the F word. A series of words that I'm going to spare you, but it's like, no, Mom, actually, no, you never told me that Grandma Gussie saw a spaceship. You never told me that. Now, could you tell me about it? And she said that when she was 12 or 13 years old, which falls right in line when I had my first conscious contact, she was laying in her room, and it was just off the kitchen in her cabin that she grew up in the little Okmulgee forest in South Georgia. And my great aunt, Eliza, had come to visit, and she was laying in bed listening to her Aunt Eliza and her mother having a very animated, louder than normal. These were both two very sedate, very calm women, and both of them were talking loudly and in a very excited way. And so since that was something my mother rarely heard from her mother, she cracked the door and listened. And what she listened to was a full description of my Grandma Gussie, who was born October 12th, 1899, talking about walking to the top of the largest hill in that area in Telfair County where they lived, and that she was out climbing that hill. And when she got to the top of it, looked down into the valley, and there was a full bone. She didn't use the same words because she didn't have the words to use. Mm-hmm. But she said she saw some kind of a thing in the sky that was silver and polished and that just glistened and had beautiful, beautiful lights coming off of it. And it was just hovering there. It was just hovering there. And she said she stood there for the longest time. She doesn't know how long, and doesn't remember leaving there. But she had to tell Eliza about it. And Eliza had apparently told her something that she had seen. And so that's what sparked that conversation between the two of them, talking about the UFOs that they had seen. And so the next morning, my mother asked her mother if she had dreamed it, or if, this was, what did she see? And she told her what she saw. She was open with her about it. And this is back in 1940. Oh, gosh. My mom was born in 39, 40, and like 52, like 1952. Mm. And it had happened sometime prior to that. I would think it'd be fascinating if it happened around the Roswell crash time, like 47, 48, and through there. Wow. Yeah. But we'll never know because, Grandma's been gone since I was a teenager. Yeah. But she told my mother, and the last thing she said to my mother is, "I saw Jesus."
Oh.
Wow. Wow.
Well, we can kind of support that because when you open your heart up, you can communicate with the Ascended Masters and even see them. Paul was saying last week how he saw Michael wrap his wings around Glenda to protect her. So, you know, this is not new to us. I mean, it's wonderful that you're sharing it as well, because I think the more people that share it and can bring it into conversation and can talk about it, the more it gives other people the opportunity to be validated and really help everyone to understand that the bottom line, the many paths, all go to the same place, which is love. And Mohammed and Abraham were brothers. I mean, as far back as you go, Jesus said, even the least among you can do all that I can do and more. And Glenda was saying that a lot of people feel that Jesus was actually practicing Reiki when he was able to do and facilitate the healings that he was able to do. So
harnessing energy.
Exactly.
He was harnessing energy.
Exactly. And what else is Reiki? Reiki is being able to...
That's what it is.
Yeah, being able to do that, being able to get attuned to that frequency so you can take the energy, concentrate it, and then, you know, let it come out through your hands.
Yeah.
It's just, it's wonderful. And all of us that are open and willing, we can do this.
So I want to move to, the book is almost done.
Yes, I have 30 pages left.
What's next?
Then it goes back to the publisher. They insert the photographs where I've denoted them to be inserted. And then it comes back to me for my perusal one more time. And when I say, I'm satisfied with this, this is ready, then they hit the send button and upload the file. And then they convert it over the following 2 weeks. It takes about 2 weeks to convert it for all e-readers. But in the interim, it will be available in hardbound and softbound edition.
But beyond the book, all right, the book goes to the New York Times bestseller list. And the book
I don't know. I don't see that happening.
We're going to make it happen. Everyone buy that freaking book and get it on the bestseller list. That is required.
Yes.
Okay. I don't think that, you know, the visitors are going to waste their time with a one and done. But once this all happens and people are elevated to another level, what is your goal? What is on the horizon for Andrea Perron?
I just want to hug and hold every single one of them, because I have this inordinate, innate ability to take people's pain away. And I don't mean physical pain. I mean emotional pain. And George, when he would travel with me, he would just stand there with his mouth hanging open. I mean, people would just walk into my arms that I have never met before and just sob and weep openly and let me hold them. And then they would feel better. And we always keep tissues on the table. And it's just a thing that happens. And I don't hang on to it. I used to. And it would weigh me down and weigh me down. But I figured out a way. This is a learning process for me. In the same way that I had to learn that I could connect and introduce people to the galactic family. I didn't know that I could do that when I did it. I just did it. Now I've learned that the best thing for me to do after I prime them and, you know, give them their brief 10-minute primer on what we're going to do, how we're going to do, how you need to look at the sky, how to, you know, teach them how to see extra dimensionally, which I do just by talking to them. Then I've learned the best way to get the best captures is to use your phone and to not only look at the sky and to communicate and to be open with them, but when you see any light anomaly in your phone, hit the click. I mean, we got photographs. Oh my God. The photographs that we got up in Mount Washington, New Hampshire in November were devastating. I mean, absolutely amazing. One gentleman got a photograph of a vessel that he will not release publicly, bless his heart. He won't, but I mean, it looked like the freaking Millennium Falcon was coming in over the top of the hotel.
Yeah, that's
It
cool.
was amazing. Amazing. And I mean, he started to cry. I mean, it was, I had to do some crowd control over that one. And then, no, I did. I mean, because he was showing it to everybody and everybody was getting very emotional about it. And, you know, one person after another, I'm out there singing at the top of my lungs in the middle of this valley surrounded by mountains. The echo was like second to none in the middle of a snowstorm and 8 degrees. And I'm out there with 3 sets of socks on and my leather bound slippers, hoping that will keep the moisture away from my feet, which, trust me when I tell you, didn't work.
Oh boy.
And then at 1:00 in the morning, I walk, we're done with the rotations on the investigations, and I'm walking back up into the main part of the hotel and go into the room where John Tenney and there were several people in there that were set up. And I said, John, did anybody tell you about what we saw? He's like, your rotation was just prior to, they came from you to me. And so all I did all night long was talk about the photographs and you and what you're doing out there and, oh my God, what they saw and on. And I said, all I did all night long was talk about ETs.
Well, Ashley dubbed you as an ambassador today, right?
Oh, that's nice. That's very nice.
Yes.
Well, you are.
In her promos, that's what resonated with her. So you are now an ambassador. So when anybody that has an intelligent bone in its body recognizes your ability to bring people together and create a higher consciousness, what would you like to be the ambassador of?
World peace. Oh my God, I sound like a Miss Universe pageant contestant. But minus the boobs and the bathing suit, world peace. Well, maybe an evening gown, but still world peace. I honest to God, let the whole world know right here, right now. I'm sitting here in my pajamas. My hair looks like I just came out of the fluff cycle on the dryer. I broke a nail. I'm a wreck. I've been, working outside. I'm just me. I am so authentically me. It's pathetic. If I could just live in sweatpants or shorts or flip-flops, the least amount of fluffy stuff possible that doesn't touch my skin so I don't feel my clothing. Because I don't really belong here, and yet I'm stuck here. And I know that I have a job to do while I am here. And now I know what that job is. I walked, Larry, you know this better than anybody. I walked around this earth for a long time going, WTF, even before that was a thing.
We've had those conversations, yes.
And, I'm meant for more than this. Why am I here? This is, and yet everything that has transpired in my life, everything that brought me to the point where I was 10 years ago when I published my first book, 2011, it was 8 years ago. Wow. And I've written 5 books. And in that amount of time, my life has changed inexorably 1,000% from what it was. There was a time when I couldn't afford to buy my own book. Honest to God, I was there. And now I'm not. And I'm so grateful to be where I am and to have the promise of the future that I have. But what I really want to do is just be in a position where I'm comfortable enough that I can come and go as I please and reach as many people as I can reach and help as many people as I can help. In the rest of the time that I'm graced to walk this planet. And then I hope and I pray that I don't ever have to come back to this oppressive 3D density that suffocates me.
Well, don't say I didn't warn you that this was going to happen, because I did.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we are going to throw the brief break, and come back, and we're going to let everybody know where to find you and what your immediate plans are once this book is published, if you're planning any kind of
like a book tour, like a signing.
Yeah. If there's anywhere you're looking to go, the conventions that you're already signed on to for the next year. So stay with us, everybody, because the best is yet to come.
Oh, this is the part where I need to start playing music, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, you don't need to, but we might want you to.
Hey, look, I was clicking on other things. All right, here it is.
Thank
there we go. We'll be right back, guys.
Greece is cheap.
But the airfare costs a fortune.
Paris?
Not much closer, and again, airfare...
What about Puerto Vallarta?
Let's face it, flying anywhere is just too expensive.
Wait, what's this? Low-cost airlines.
With one call to low-cost airlines, you'll drastically slash your travel costs. We're talking insanely low airline prices to any of your favorite destinations. Where would you like to go? London, Rome, Costa Rica, Australia?
Wow, that's cheap.
So why wait? Call now to learn how crazy cheap it is to fly anywhere in the U.S. or international. Our prices are so low, we can't publish them. The only way to get them is to call to instantly hear the most amazing best deals on airline travel. It's that easy. So call now and start packing.
800-470-1834. 800-470-1834. 800-470-1834. That's 800-470-1834.
When I need a cut, I go to Diamond Cuts. Ain't no half cutting there. Oh, yeah. Woo, man, at Diamond Cuts, their barbers got the freshest styles. Anything from fades, seasons, high tops, blowouts, shape-up, tape-ups, and much more. Their barbers can cut men, women, children, young and old. Stop by Diamond Cut at 144 Pocono Boulevard in Mount Pocono, PA. Or just call at 570-216-4912. Ain't no half cutting there, baby paw. Yo, Stan, yo, Ant, yo, Black, yo, Light Skin, yo, E, where y'all at?
Attention timeshare owners. This is an urgent consumer alert from Resort Release, a national company specializing in helping consumers legally get out of their expensive timeshare contract. Resort Release is offering a Better Business Bureau accredited way to legally get rid of your timeshare guaranteed. With our guarantee and transfer service, you'll never pay another timeshare maintenance bill again, and your contract will be terminated. You can begin saving today, even if you've tried another company to get rid of your timeshare. Call and see if we can help. At Resort Release, we only accept payment after an agreement has been made to get you out of your timeshare. Make this completely free call and learn how this honest Midwest-based company can help anyone, anywhere, legally get out of their timeshare nightmare guaranteed. Call right now to qualify and receive a free consultation.
800-598-0539. 800-598-0539. 800-598-0539. That's 800-598-0539.
If you're struggling to pay or haven't been making your student loan payments, listen carefully to this urgent alert. Have you been out of school for 10 or more years and you're still making your student loan payments? Are your student loans past due or even in default? Can't go back to school because of an old student loan problem? We can help you if you qualify. Your student loans can be taken out of default. We can stop the wage garnishments, stop the collection calls, and stop the seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and see if we can help you reduce your student loan payments. One quick 10-minute call could solve them right now. So call the Student Loan Helpline now. 800-731-7534, 800-731-7534, 800-731-7534, 800-731-7534. This is a fee-based document preparation service to help you access free government programs. Call for complete details, not available in all states.
Hi, this is Andrea Perron. You're listening to Glenda's Dragon's Den, where everything is wild and untamed.
back. And for anyone who's interested in finding out more about Glenda and the products and services that help her bring this show to you, please feel free to go to glendasdragonsden.com, and you will be ushered from there in the direction that you're looking to travel in.
Come on, Larry, put more energy into it. That wasn't a very good sales pitch.
I know.
Let's go. Glenda's Dragon's Den. Go to it on the Facebook.
Come on, hubby.
Do you want to get covered in dragon poop? Because I could just give you a big hug right now.
No, it's fine. You're doing fine.
Thank you.
Fine.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Fine.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Lower.
Oh, God.
Andrea, are you back with us?
I am.
Thank goodness. First of all, I'd like you to share with the people where they can find your plethora of Facebook pages and other information on how to get a hold of you, and where you're going to be just so far in the coming year, so that they can actually meet you and get a personal signature on their copy of A Wonder to Behold.
Well, I'm going to be at the Ocean State Paracon in July. I'm going to be an event in Ohio at the Bel Air House in May. I post everything that's upcoming for me on most, or if not all, of my Facebook pages. But it's actually better if you just, oh gosh, I don't know. It's all coming so fast. It's gonna be July in no time, and I'm freaking out already. I go back out on the road in May. I have to go to Ohio. I think I'm going to the Ohio State Penitentiary for an event, and I'm doing a thing in Colorado, and then I have to do a thing in New Hampshire, and then another thing in New Hampshire, and then there's like 6 in Michigan.
Boy,
it's more than I can really get into right now.
Well, you have.
As I'm sitting here, I'm flashing promo banners through my eyes.
You have a fan page. That's a global fan page.
Yeah,
that
I do. It's
can,
the Buttercup Brigade.
The Buttercup Brigade.
Yeah.
And anybody can join that and like it, and all of the information that comes out about where you're going to be is posted right there. Mm-hmm. Each book, A Wonder to Behold, In a Flicker, and House of Darkness, House of Light, has its own Facebook page.
Yeah.
There's also AndreaPerron.com, correct?
Yes.
So.
Well, no, that's not up and running yet.
Not yet?
And my other website, no, not yet. Because I've been busy. Oh, God, there's only one of me.
We need to get you a street
farming
team.
It out. Come on, let's get the minions busy.
I'm working it in my brain about how I want this to look. I want it to reflect who I am as an individual and have all of my work there in one place.
Whoa!
Oh.
Is there an archangel of marketing that could help out Andrea at this point, or like SEO?
You think Ariel can be spared?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And I'm redoing my other website too, so it's old and stale, and it's not that everything there isn't accurate. It's just so much has happened since then that it feels like I did it 10,000 years ago.
So that's
instead of So I have this really great webmaster, and all I have to do is just feed him information and tell him where I want it to go and how I want it to look. And I've been putting him off for a year and a half. So that's where that is right now. So go to my Facebook pages because at least I tend to those.
Which one?
At least I make an effort,
Which one?
Your personal one?
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, any of them. Any of them, but yeah. You can follow me on my personal Andrea Perron page, or you can go to the Buttercup Brigade, which is the good deed doers and the rose-colored glasses wearers, and There's lots of love and light there. It's a really cushy, soft place to land in cyberspace for sure. House of Darkness, House of Light, A Wonder to Behold, In a Flicker, and A World Awakening. And A World Awakening is my favorite of all of them. And even though I've neglected the living daylights out of it for the last couple of months, I will be back, when this book is out and it's done, and I'll be putting it out all over every place. So I would suggest people who are interested in, my just generalized thoughts about the plight of the world, can go to A World Awakening and get shaken awake by a few of the things that are on that feed. Just scroll down and take your time and kind of get lost in the information. And I try to do my part every day in whatever little way that I can to make this world a better place. That's really all that I can do.
Well, as wonderful as all of that sounds, and as wonderful as our relationship is, I'm going to ask the question that everybody else wants to know, which is, when are you and Tenny going to be on stage together again? Do you have a date set for that yet?
No, we haven't. But it'll happen because it's inevitable. But I would say that that's one of the events that I'll be doing in Michigan, probably at Omara's again this year with him, which will be our 8th time, I believe, doing it. Sometimes we squeeze in a couple in one year. So, it's been, I enjoy that enormously. He is the most fun to work with of any human being on the planet. He's just amazing. And I have to stand there on stage and try not to let my mouth hang open based on, the brilliance that's just spilling out of his consciousness. My mother just flagged me down, and she said to tell you that the cover of National Geographic this month is a picture of the telescopes at SETI with the heading, "We Are Not Alone."
There you go.
So awesome. We've made the big time on National Geographic. It's fabulous.
Thanks,
and remember
Mom.
last year on 11/11 when the tonal vibrations, that whole convergence of stuff went on, and there were tones and frequencies measured all over this planet. That it was a thing. It was a big deal. And so I would encourage anybody and everybody to pick up or order this month's copy of National Geographic. They did an absolutely splendid job covering this subject.
Well, if they do it, maybe Mom will sign it. There you go.
Probably not.
Yeah, probably not. So
Don't push it. Don't push it with me. All she did was flag me down and say National Geographic cover. She knew we had talked earlier about, I should mention that because, it's only going to be around for a couple of weeks. Grab a copy of it now. It's going to be a keepsake. Absolutely. And yes, if you bring it to an event, I will happily sign it. Although I didn't write it, and it's just nothing but my idea.
Absolutely. Well, ideas are what drive the world. Glenda's going to do a quick promo for next week's show, and then we're going to hang out for a little bit of overtime if you're up for it. And I'll give you a moment to, look at your schedule and maybe pull up the dates for Starworks. Are you doing Starworks yet this year? Are you signed? They should sign you.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not speaking. I didn't let Paula know that I was even available because I just don't know if I will be. I don't know. Right. I can't say that much in advance right now.
Well, just, pull a couple of things together, the screenplays that you're working on, because you alluded to them, and I don't think anybody knows, and we'll be right back. We're not leaving the video feed, but Glenda's just going to do the read for promoting next week's show, and we'll wrap it up with, what's near and dear to your heart after the book gets onto the New York Times bestseller list.
Okay.
Glenda?
So anybody that has to go, I'm sorry you have to leave, but we just want to take this moment to say thank you to everybody that was here. And I also want to mention that this time 6 o'clock on next Sunday, Eastern Daylight Time, right here on WYLD-FM. We will be having a very special guest, a shiatsu master for over 40 years. His name is Reynard Cohen, and he will talk all about his life experience and how shiatsu changed his whole perspective on life. But stay with us. We still have a lot to talk about with Andrea. Just wanted to get that out for those that had to leave, since we are going overtime now.
Well, shiatsu also changed your life, didn't it?
Yes, it did. Yes, it did.
You were trained in shiatsu?
I was trained by Reynard in shiatsu, and he actually helped me relieve some of the pain that I have in my body every day from fibromyalgia and many different things like sinus problems and headaches. It's a wonderful thing. And the best part, there's no needles involved because I'm not a needle person. So that's one of the reasons I love shiatsu.
And I want to take a brief moment to thank Ashley for pulling this show together, and you, Andrea, for being here. And I am the luckiest man because I've got Glenda on my left and Andrea on my right at all times. And I couldn't be in a better place to get my ears pulled and my direction forwarded, because both of you are just so dear to my heart and so wonderfully forward in your thinking and in your vibrations. So, Andrea, now that you've had this moment, what would you like to bring to our attention?
I want everybody to realize that it's not as hopeless as it looks. We can change the world in remarkable ways by all doing the same thing, and that is being pure of heart, open, loving, honest, true, sincere, kind, giving, compassionate human beings. And when we attain that level of beingness consistently, we are setting an intention and holding a vibration that literally changes the world, each individually. And the more we do that together, the more we determine what is abhorrent to us, what we cannot and will not tolerate in terms of the world as it exists now, and make the decision to actively participate in healing it by loving it well. Once we get there, there's no turning back. This will be a wave of consciousness raising that is sweeping the globe in unprecedented ways. This is the paradigm shift, and we need all rise to the occasion.
Well, I'd like to ask everyone listening with us to focus on Andrea's cat and send that love and ask that cat to return home
immediately.
Well, you can't ask a cat to do anything immediately, but in the next, let's say the next hour or so, let's focus that intention that the cat will come home and Andrea can be reunited. And I'd like to give a hug to Mom and Dad and your sisters, because I feel like, you're all family to me. Thank you so much for sparing your evening with us in the midst of the cyclone that is your life.
Yeah.
And
it's true. But I'm telling you, if I find out that redneck shot that cat, I swear to God, I'll burn him out. I'll make sure I'll burn him out through the laser focus of my eyes, through the woods, to his hut.
He will just explode spontaneously. Like, what was that?
Well,
yes.
Like, Tunguska blast.
If our cat comes home, now, I mean, we have a real vested interest in this cat. She was saved as a kitten and made a part of this family. and has been spayed and is as well fed and well cared for and well tended to as any animal on the planet. But there's also a part of her that is feral. And her mother, we captured her mother and got her spayed too. And she lives outside. She's our barn kitty, mama kitty, but she also has a very nice den, beautiful shelter that we have for her on the back porch, but she won't come into the house. She'll let us touch her outside. But Little Gray is a member of the family.
Yes.
And I love her. And if I could take her to Florida with me, I would. But she would immediately attack and destroy my father's leather sofas. And she would immediately be eaten by an eagle flying over my house.
Yeah.
You know, there's a reason nobody that lives on Lake Apopka has outside cats, because the birds that fly over are so huge that all they have to do is just swoop down, and it's over in a split second.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm between a rock and a hard place, because this is wild land out here. There's a lot of acres out behind us. And like way behind us through the bamboo forest is where the loser lives. And, you know, he'd just shoot anything out of the sky just to watch it die. I mean, you know, this is what he does. And so I put a curse on him. You know, I do. I hope there's a special hell for him to burn in. And if that makes me bad, then I'm a bad
look,
girl,
I got a roped off section waiting for me, so I'll just wave you in.
You're not bad, Andrea. You're just drawn that way.
There you go.
There you go.
You know, and then there's Larry going, big picture, Annie, big picture, big picture, big picture.
I'm going to use him to paint the big picture.
If he did anything to hurt my cat, he's dead meat.
You hear that, guy?
Let's all set the intention.
Okay.
For this man's life to continue.
Little Gray's coming home, and the neighbor will see the light and realize that he's all part of the web, and be kinder and more compassionate for all of the love and energy we are paying him forward.
Okay, you work on that. Okay, because I'm busy hating his guts.
Meanwhile,
right
she's
now.
like,
I'm
beating her hand against
hating him right now. I'm pre-blaming him for the disappearance of our cat.
All right.
You know, and if I'm proved wrong, I'll take it back. But I hate him for so many other things. That, I mean, really, it's incremental. Does it really matter if I shave off 1/8 of a hate? You know?
Well, yes, it all matters. You know it all matters.
But you can always outsource that rage to somebody else. I'm like, I can't do it. My hands need to be clean. But if you want to do something about it.
I'm going to go mess him up. No, I'm telling you. You better get me out of Georgia soon. I'm like, my sister, they've got to, you know, trap these cats and move everybody to Florida and have a security fence around the property.
I have like an underground kitty enclosure where they just like go through tunnels all day with skylights, and then the eagles can't get them.
I know. That's the thing. You know, I think we're going to just have one of those really, really big Stripes here. Oh, he's the bad cat in the neighborhood.
Nothing but trouble. Born on the wrong side of the tracks.
Sammy doesn't like it. Yeah, no, Sammy's having a nervous breakdown right now. He doesn't like him at all. He's beautiful, but he's mean.
Well, maybe.
You know, and I could be
Glenda
blaming him, too.
Maybe Glenda can have a chat with him. Maybe he's seen Little Gray.
Yeah, well, yeah, Glenda, okay, you get on that. And Larry, you get on perfect light and peace and compassion in the world.
And Andrea's going to get on top of whooping the crap out of her neighbor.
Yeah, and then I'm going to finish the proof on the new book.
Well, thank you so much. Don't want to impose and hold you longer than you're comfortable staying. Just give everyone a hug for us.
Okay, I will.
And we will see you soon.
Okay, I'll come back anytime. We'll do this again. It was great fun, and it was very uplifting for me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anytime you have something you want to say, you let us know, and we will make space.
Okay, sounds great. I love you guys. Take care.
You
love
too.
You too.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
So is that it?
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks,
have
everybody.
A great night. See you next week.
Yeah, baby.
Right here at Glenda's Dragon's Den.
Woo!